Hey guys, welcome to Grease Garage. I'm Rhys, this is Ben, Cheap Ben actually as I like to call him, and we are working again on the twin turbo Triton.
Yes we are. Back for another round of punishment, Rhys.
That's another round of Ben does things cheap.
We'll talk about that in a minute, but first of all, we have some new merchandise.
Yeah, we do. Check it out. If you guys like the Turbo Pajero project, because it was sick, and it's about to hit the dyno, you can now support us with some merch. And Ben, what have you got?
Well, Rhys, this is one of your favourites because we have, oh, wrong side, let's go, Turbo Magna goodness. Loud one. So check it out. We have some good stuff, all quality. Definitely not made in Australia. Made in Australia?
It is actually made in Australia.
Okay, just checking.
Guys, you can buy these for under 50 bucks. They cost me $69 to get made. So I'm only going to do that for a little while, like maybe another month, and that's it. I'm going to bump the prices back up to what they're meant to be. So if you want a cheap thing, get them in now. Another thing I want to do is I'm going to take off $150 for the next 10 Elite 2500s that I bought through the store.
I just need to go buy something.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
The store is greasegarage.org, 2500 Elites, $150 off.
Don't know if they knew that you're a reseller. Have you mentioned that before at all?
No.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I sell Heltex.
He sells Heltex, by the way, guys. So yeah, get on the website.
I'm a dealer.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust him.
No, I wouldn't trust me either. Anyway, so first things first is we're going to cut this bonnet.
Yeah.
Second thing is we're going to try and make a tray.
Yeah, try.
Third thing is we're going to fix up all the dodgy crap you did. So how do you want to like find out where we cut? Do we just go like this? Dent. Dent.
We could have bolted the
dent. So cut. Look, it didn't do any damage. Oh, oh, look at that! It didn't even wreck it. It took paint off this. Doesn't that just set the tone? Now the bonnet needs to be chopped. So we're getting the old angle grinder out and we are chopping it. Not because we need to, but because it's necessary for Ben to enter the competitions he wants to do. That means we've got to cut the minimum amount to make sure this thing closes. That means I'm handing Ben a power tool.
You can take your junk hole saw.
You've blunted it so bad.
I haven't done anything.
Yeah, this is the problem. You have to do them slow, and this doesn't really have a...
No.
Oh. As you see, Ben took on my advice. He's smashing that hole saw without a worry. Just look at him go.
This is like crab walking. I dented my bonnet.
Oh, Ben, when will you learn, mate? Move over. Seems you've already dented it. Let me show you how it's done. And as you can see, that didn't really work either. So what we ended up doing was going back to basics. I've got my whiz snips and I tried my hand at some metal work.
How good?
Mate,
throttle body time.
Sexy.
Or a bit more of the turbo first.
I think I'll do a bit of the turbos and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
To save you guys hours of waiting, this is the end result, and can I say it is pretty good, really. Like, with what we were working with, tools we have, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. I mean, just look at that fire extinguisher. That thing is just epic, hanging out of the bottom. This goes without saying, you're cutting, you're grinding, metal's gonna go everywhere, and that metal will rust. So what I've decided to do was get the high pressure cleaner, put some degreaser in there, and just clean the whole engine bay out, and then spread that sucker down with some inox. Well, that took way too long, but as you can see, it looks okay. Like, you can definitely see the picture that we're trying to go for. A couple of things I wish I did a bit differently. I think I've mentioned it before, is I wish I cut this in a bit closer. But in saying that, it's come out nice. We just need to obviously clean up a little bit more to allow for a bit more movement. A couple of places get a bit tight, but other than that, this is roughly what it's going to look like. I'd like to mention also, and Keen and I probably would have seen it already, that we have taken off the oil feed lines. We've got new ones. We're going to be chucking them in. And the reason why I did that is because these old oil feeds were so big that I would have had to chop off way more of the bonnet, and it wasn't needed because the new ones are going to be way tighter and look a lot better. Now we have to figure out how to, now we have to figure out how to turn this into this, which Ben is now going to weld.
Yeah!
But first, I'll show you how we got to this point. So as you saw, we are using some very hefty metal, and there's a good reason for that. Not only is this going to be great for moving the actual car now, but also when Ben decides to blow this up on the burnout pad. And let's face it, that's probably going to happen. Now there's two words we are thinking of: tip in. And that's why we've designed the tray like this. Because when you're tipping in on a burnout pad, you don't want anything hanging over the back wheels, because that is most likely going to end up in the wall. So anything we can do to help Ben prevent doing that, we're going to do. Look, Liam, Ben's put new rims on.
Yeah, they're not bad.
Yeah, look at the tread.
Yeah, they're all brand new, eh?
Brand-
Got another 100,000 in that one.
But look, I see a problem. What do you think the problem is?
And it's a bit too high.
It's a bit too high. I want it tucking. So we're going to chop this back thing and see what it looks like.
All right, Ben, foreskin.
Now, I really should mention that I've never done this before, and what Ben says right now makes a lot of sense. I shouldn't be grinding this while he's taking off a petrol tank. I'm just going to try and finish this grind. I got another 2 inches, so
Can I just finish with
No, I'm going to grind it!
the raw fuel thing?
Now, as you can see by Ben's face, he's definitely not impressed with this, and neither would my insurance. So he actually did end up taking off the tank before we finish grinding those ends off. But now that they're grinded, it's time to see how low this thing actually sits. Really good for your batteries. Back's going, back's going, back's going, back's going.
Stop!
Oh yeah, we could definitely go. Well, mate, I'm pretty sure it's going to hit the bump stops.
Well, how you flip those is pretty much, can you just go a little bit more?
You heard him. He wants this lower. And who am I to disappoint a friend? So what we're going to do is these leaf spring shackles, we need to make a mounting point in the actual chassis so we can bolt it in there. And that is going to give us the ultimate drop. Well, as you can see, we worked on into the night after me stuffing up this one, and we ended up grinding and drilling it in here. This does fit in, but it's not sitting true, so we have to clean this out a little bit on both sides, and then we're going to weld it up, and then we're going to drop it and see how it actually sits. It's been a process. Just like anything in life, when you're doing something new, you're going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn. Now, one thing we did notice is when we actually got the mounting points in the correct spot for the shackles, we noticed that the cross brace on the actual chassis is now in the way. So what we decided to do was put in a new tube to keep it rigid and take out the old cross member. Of course, this means this has ended up being way more work than we thought it was going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be well worth it. And with Liam's effort there, we have pretty much removed the whole back end of Ben's car. But now, it's time to put it back together, and we're starting with these bracket mounts. So we can test to see how low it's sitting.
Alright, that's enough.
Well, it's on the bum stop, so this is technically cheating. It
It is actually.
is on the bum stop. We should chop
Should
the
we?
bum stops and then test it.
Yeah.
And these are bump stops, and if we give these a quick little cut, we'll be able to get way more movement with the suspension without it bombing out on the chassis. Well, that's what we thought, but if you have a look right here, you can see that now it's hitting on the brackets. So we're going to have to chop off the back end of the chassis just that little bit more, clean up, try to remove any rust we can, and then hit it with some primer, and then we're off to the next thing. So as you can see, we've just taken out the diff. Why we've done that, Ben?
We got to shorten it. Make it, a bit more compact.
Now, we've never done this before, so...
Extra qualified.
Well, YouTube qualified should be perfectly fine. And that's right, YouTube qualified means we can pretty much do anything. First off, Liam is on the angle grinder, and Ben's helping him make sure he doesn't chop his fingers off, and we are removing anything that's going to get our way with the trusty hammer. Because the whole idea of this thing is to make sure we can put 2 clamps on that diff to keep it straight while we weld. Well, as you saw, Ben smashed the brackets off He's cleaned it up as best he can. He's chopped his thumb off pretty much.
Almost lost my thumb.
The problem is we were also going to do the axles, right? We were going to grind them down, not grind them down, trying to modify them. And with our dodgy setup, it's just not going to work. So that's someone's problem in Perth.
It's a Perth trip, yep.
Yep, I'm sorry for whoever gets them, but yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to make these even shorter now.
Yeah.
Because we were limited, but now we're not. Because it's someone else's problem.
We'll do custom axles, so
Yeah. So we're only going to cut down 55 millimeters. We're going to go a whole 65 now.
It doesn't sound like much, but overall,
It's 130 down. It's a fair bit.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Well, so that's 5 inches, something like that.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that now, and we've never done this before, like we said before. So it's probably going to be wrong as well, but we're going to try.
Make the mistake, we'll film it, we'll let you know, and so you don't make the same mistake as well.
Oh, I love that. Well, nothing gets your nerves cranked up like doing something for the first time, and we are definitely getting pretty nervous about chopping our diff. There's one thing you have to do before you do anything else, and that is mark across the diff, so when you actually chop a section of metal out, everything's going to line back up. The trick here is to use an angle grinder to cut a groove in the actual metal, because this way, no matter what you do, it's still going to have that groove there. All right, so we've got the diff in front of us, and as you can see, we've chopped the ends, we bring them down, but how we weld them and how we get them straight. So pretty much what we're using is some of this right angle. We were meant to use C channel, because then if we used C channel, we could have then used clamps. But because these are so short, clamps wouldn't have worked, so we've just used some stainless steel hose clamps. So what we've done here is I've put this into the lathe and I've laid this one down, so this one is 100% straight. And then we've done our very best to try and get this side straight with the grinder. But it doesn't matter if these are a little bit off, because that's what these do. These strain it up. So what we're going to do now is we're going to weld it. Now, for you guys that have been following us for a long time, you guys know that me and Ben cannot MIG to save our lives. So I'm using the TIG to TIG this up to the point where we can remove those clamps and then do a full weld around it. But if you've got a MIG, don't be afraid, because MIG is probably what the professionals would use doing this. Now you will see that I TIGged up one side, turned it around and TIGged up the other side. I did this 4 times, so I have 4 points of contact. So I'm making sure that this thing is not going to move when I start laying a full bead. Now we have successfully shortened the diff, we are installing it back into the Triton so we can line up the diff mounts in the correct spot. Now, as you guys saw, we have lowered this a lot, so now is the time to get the diff lengthwise in the right spot. We are also correcting the tail shaft angle, which is as simple as putting a jack stand underneath the axle housing and then lowering the hoist up and down until we get the right angle. After that, we tighten up the U-clamps and tack the diff brackets in place. And to make sure that it's a good weld, we then remove the diff again, lay a weld on the stands, and then cover everything in paint to stop any rust.
All right, guys, so we're finishing up for the day, and as you can see, while Rhys is attempting to put my axle back in there, I think we're good, Rhys? We're looking right?
No, this one, stick there.
Oh,
we go.
okay, cool. Oh, cool. A bit worried. So, here you go, you can have that one. You can play that one. That's how much we cut out. Ta-da! Look, overall, I think it was a pretty good experience. It was definitely on the testing end of our abilities.
I mean, it looks
good.
It looks the part. I mean, we've done it. The only thing we couldn't do is obviously do the shafts.
Yeah.
Because you saw my awesome jank setup.
Well, yeah, we tried.
We tried.
The idea was great.
It was, look, $70 cost us. Thank you, TNCs.
Yeah.
Sponsor us. But honestly, look, it cost $70 to try it out. And we knew it was a long shot.
Yeah. But overall, so now the diff is going to go with me back to Perth and get these axles machined up, get them to suit. Then we'll be able to slap that back together.
Now, do you have the tape on you?
The tape measure or the tape?
Tape measure. Anyway, well, we measured it anyway, but it was
1325 originally.
Yes, 1325, and now it's
1196.
Yeah, 1196.
Yeah, 1196. So yeah, it's a bit out of it.
We've bring them in about 65 mil each side.
Yeah, which is all we needed to now get those wheels and tyres combo that we're going to run is sitting under the tray. So the theory to all that, if for those that don't know, is when you do blow your tyres up, they're not on the outside of the car or close to the outside of the car, and they're not damaging all your panels as the belts of the tyres.
That's right, because you want to put some like heavy duty metal on that tray, which is going to be sick. But yeah, so this is going to look sick. It's going to be just like the normal burner cars. And guess what you can do?
What?
You can put, oh no, these are 6 stud. Damn it.
Yeah.
I was going to say you can put Loudon's deep dish rims on the back. Like these big like 315s.
We got steelies, man. We know we can just cut and shut them, but
that would look really cool. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Going to Perth, it has been a big section of trying to get this car done. I mean, we've done so much. But this really was not just a weekend. This has been like a month.
And this episode, which you guys will be watching now, this has been several months for us because Rhys is 4 hours from where I live, and also depending on when you're busy, I'm free.
Well, we've done the Evo.
Yeah, done the Evo in between that.
We've had Josh's Turbo Pajero on the dyno as well.
Yep. You've started working on Loud One, which we can't really talk about much yet, but you have started.
Broken.
Well,
broken.
Yeah.
We don't know what yet. We don't know what yet. So I mean, lots of stuff has been happening.
Yeah.
But yes. Hope you are enjoying the project. If you would like to support us, please subscribe. Buy merch. We've got heaps of stuff. We've actually got another shirt. I know we said it at the beginning, but we've got another shirt now for the actual twin turbo Triton.
Yeah, the long sleeve, guys. So good for motorsport events, working in the shed, around the home, just anything you might need long sleeve for. Great shirt. So
and get yourself a Haltech. Why I've done that deal.
Oh yeah. Actually, I think I'm due for a Haltech.
Yeah, cool. Anyway, no worries. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Fucking hell.
What are you doing?
I was trying to stick my head through like,
I
like I was getting born like, hey!
Like the scene out of Ace Ventura.
Yeah.